Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Heal and Create Your Own Reality TV. Again, my name is Susan. I wanted to come in this morning and, just say good morning, one. Actually, grand rising. I don't like good morning, I like grand rising. And so I just got hit with this wave of how to explain something in a better sense so that we can all understand it a little bit better. So I speak a lot on for everything good, there's something bad, right? And there are spirits, like diabolical ones that we don't see with our physical eye. We are not in tune with them unless it's shown to us. And even when it is shown to us, it's a bit difficult for us to grab onto the idea that these people can be so diabolical, right? And so, not just because, see, I am the person that turns the darkness into light. And I use the darkness as a learning experience to be able to heal. And what I do is I integrate the darkness into the light, because the only thing that's always going to stay, our purest form, is the light. But because we're in a world of darkness, right, we pick up things throughout our journey, and that becomes attached to us and we don't see it, right? So the point of that is to integrate the darkness with the light and purify the darkness, and just get the lesson out of it, let go of the evil stuff, and keep the lesson so that you could use it as a backup for later on. But that's not what we're going to speak about here today. What I wanted to touch base on is how, for example, right, for everything good, there's something the opposite, right? The laws of polarity, right? And so, the same way that we do have genuine good people, there's also those diabolical ones. For example, what's happening with the celebrities right now. And I wanted to use this as an example. I don't want to dwell into what it is that they do, because I know what that is. See, I'm a survivor of that. And what I did was I integrated the lesson from it and basically purify the darkness. And what I can do now is talk about it, right, and teach on it, because I have healed from it, right? And so a lot of people who have gone through such diabolical things, right, and who are triggered by what they're seeing in social media, what they're seeing in the news, what they're seeing in entertainment, right? And coming to the understanding that, we've basically been lied about most of everything, and that these people that portray to be men and women of good character, upstanding citizens of society, those are the ones that we usually have to watch out for, not putting judgment on anybody, but they're really good with the gift of gab, right? And so what I've learned is that these people are operating through these spirits. So these people were operating with these spirits, right? And nobody could tell. You couldn't tell that they were operating in diabolicalness, because what they portrayed to society, what they showed in their everyday life, was that they were upstanding members of society. They're people who even donate to help communities, build community. They inspire people, right? And so when we look at it at that level, right, where we're seeing people who are basically a picture of what to aspire to be until it's proving that they're not, right? We can then go ahead and understand, because of the evidence that has been proven and shown, we can see that what we see with these two eyes is not what it is, and that spirits were operating through these people. Now, are we able to see those spirits? We're not, right? We're not able to see them, especially because they have it so polished, in a sense that unless you have spiritual eyes to see and understand, based on, what can I say, based on the lyrics in the music, based on the behaviors and actions of those around them that we can physically see, and the way that they carry themselves beyond the veil, right? Beyond the veil. Because if you don't have spiritual eyes to see, spiritual ears to listen, spiritual eyes to see again, you wouldn't have caught on to that, right? And so I wanted to use this as an example as to how spirits operate through people. And we don't necessarily need to see a full-blown monster, right? That's not what we're gonna see. We're never going to find a full-blown monster that's just acting out, trying. We're never going to see a full-blown monster that's just acting out our character, that's doing things in daylight, just saying, this is who I am, this is what I do. We are not going to see that. We are going to see what that entity wants us to think that we want to see, because they're masters of confusion, of illusions, of lies, right? They're the children of Hashatan, Satan, the prince of darkness, right? And so they're master illusionists, master manipulators. And so if at a bigger scale, right, they have this entire system built all the way to the top so that measures are in place so that it could never get to this point right here. I remember a couple months ago, I made a very short video and I think it was around September. I said, usually this diabolical people, I cursed at that time, but like these diabolicalness, they usually leave a trail, and that's how they get caught, right? It's the same thing that's happening now, right? And because is the time, this is the year of exposure, okay? These kind of things cannot go into the new earth, right? So I wanted to just use it as an example so that we can understand what we're dealing with here. We're not dealing with people who are just walking around being diabolical, like you could physically see it. That's not what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with sophisticated diabolicalness. All these secret societies, organizations, right? At a lower level, you think you're joining something good, something prosperous, or you might not, right? But even with the religions, but at a higher level, at the top, these are the things that are happening. And from the top to bottom, they have a whole surrounding of things that are in place. These people are supposed to be the leaders, the ones that we look up to, the upright, ascending citizens, the good father, the good mother, the teacher, the confidant. And they're not. They portray to be that, but behind closed doors, this is not what they're doing. And so the point of this video is to give you an idea of how spirits operate, right? The spirit is not going to come in and say, hey, I'm a diabolical spirit, let's talk. No, the spirit is going to entice you and lie. Hashatan is the father of confusion and illusion. So that's what they do. Behind closed doors, they're not being honest, being real, being kind, being loving, being caring. To be so is rare. To be so is to be a child of God. And there are few of us that are that we can literally be who we are authentically. When the doors are closed and when the doors are open, we are the same person. And sometimes we're even better behind closed doors. Yeah. I speak that for me. So I'm going to come back with the next part 2.